Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Stoller.
And I'm Shauna Haley, and this is Inside Plano, where we take you behind the scenes of our city.
We'll introduce you to the faces and places who help make this a great place to live.
And give us lots of reasons to love Plano. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside Plano, your Plano podcast produced by the City of Plano. I'm Shauna Haley, Director of Communications, and I'm all alone today. My counterpart, Steve Stoller, is unavailable, and so we wanted to make sure that we got the podcast to you as scheduled because we know you look forward to it every month. So if you'll bear with me, it's a solo show today, but I promise you we still have an interesting guest who will be joining us, and it should be a great conversation. Today's show, we're really focused on things that you didn't know about infrastructure in the city. And there's a lot going on. Certainly, you're seeing a lot of construction cones. And so we're going to get to the bottom of what's going on and how are those decisions being made. But let me jump in first and talk about what we all know. It's July, and not only is it as hot as the surface of the sun outside, and you can see if you're watching on the video, I look like I'm hot. That's because sun is shining in on me in my office. But the beginning of July brings a favorite activity here in Plano, the All-American 4th celebration. It'll be Monday, July 4th from 6 to 10 p.m. If you've never been, let me give you a tip. The best viewing is from the north side of the Collin College parking lot. That's on Spring Creek Parkway. And there are some things you need to know before you go. It is a completely free event, free. Leave your pet at home. Pets do not typically react well to the sound of fireworks, particularly large scale fireworks, and we don't want a great evening to be spoiled by a search for a lost, scared pet. So leave your pet at home and head on out to watch. Parking is available in multiple places, primarily at Collin College, at the Plano Event Center, and also at First United Methodist Church Plano. You can follow the city on Twitter, and we'll give you live parking updates to let you know where the best places that still have openings to park are. There will be food and beverages available for purchase. A vendor market. The 4th of July parade will be coming back soon. And to kick that off, the Rotary Clubs of Plano are doing a static parade. So, which just means the parade floats are parked, but you can walk and enjoy those. And then we'll have a kids zone too. So if you want to come early and snag a great spot to watch the fireworks, you can keep those kiddos busy with the kids zone. Fireworks will actually start at 9:30 p.m. and music accompanying the show will be simulcast on 97.5 KLAK. You can bring your blankets, you can bring lawn chairs, you can bring coolers. If you're on the campus at Collin College, alcohol is prohibited per their rules. And also, if you're in Oak Point Park, all of the trail system that leads to Oak Point Park will be closed because of the event for safety. And there are some guidelines on drones. You're not going to be able to fly drones in the area from 5 to 11 p.m. at Collin College, at Oak Point Park, or at Plano Event Center. So I think we needn't say this, but I'm going to remind everybody you need to leave fireworks to the experts. Fireworks are prohibited in Plano by ordinance, and they're also prohibited at the by Collin College in their rules. So, with July, not only 4th of July, there are going to be some city closures. So before you head out to your favorite library or the rec center or to City Hall to pay a bill, make sure you visit our website and check out holiday hours. And we post those on social media as well, but you can get to them and we'll include that information in the show notes. July is National Parks and Recreation Month, and I've got some did you knows for you. First of all, you may not have seen this news. We're very excited about it. Plano Parks and Recreation has been named a finalist in the 2022 National Gold Medal Awards Program. The National Gold Medal Awards Program, reason why this is a big deal, it honors public park and recreation agencies that demonstrate excellence in long-range planning, resource management, and innovative approaches to delivering superb park and recreation services with a fiscally sound business practice. So if Plano wins, it'll actually be the 5th time that the city has been awarded the prize. We definitely love our parks and recreation system here in Plano. I think they're gold medal winning, and they certainly have been recognized for that. So best of luck to them. We'll wait and hear and bring you the good news when that's announced. Earlier this year, you may not have heard this, the Trust for Public Parks Oh, sorry, let me say that again. The Trust for Public Land listed Plano as having the best park system in Texas, and we're 15th best in the nation. If you haven't checked out the parks in Plano, you can go to planoparks.org and find the closest park to you. Most parks are within a 10-minute walk of everywhere in Plano, so find a park and explore it today. And recently, the Secretary of the Interior named Bob Woodruff Park and Oak Point Park and Nature Preserve trails as national recreation trails. They join the Bluebonnet Trail and Chisholm Trail as part of more than 1,300 trails in the National Recreational Trails Program. And that program is throughout the United States, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico. And those are some of my favorite trails too. They're beautiful to get out and walk on, walk your dog, go for a bike ride, go for a run. Speaking of parks, by the way, you may be familiar with Haggard Park in downtown Plano. The Plano Community Band's summer series in downtown Haggard Park is underway already. It started in June. All concerts are at 7 p.m. You can check out their schedule online and you can plan for a fun night out in downtown in the park with some great free music. Well, there are other terrific programs going on this month. Of course, we love Plano Public Library. We know right now we're in the middle of summer learning, lots and lots of things going on. Here's one, though, that I really love. The Thinking Money for Kids exhibit series strives to teach elementary age children and their parents, caregivers, or educators about financial literacy topics, things like saving and spending and budgeting. And they do it in a way that's both understandable and fun for kids. So they have a community market style storyline and digital interactive content and fun hands on activities. So it explores questions like this for kids. What is money? How do we earn money? Saving and spending, values that are related to money, like fairness and charitableness, and how to make responsible financial decisions. So that exhibit opens July 13th. It runs through August 24th. So if you have kiddos in your life, that's a great one to check out. If you are a homeowner in Plano and you're active in your HOA, we would love for you to join the city for the 2022 HOA Legal Clinic. It is on Saturday, July 16th. The cities of Garland, Plano, and Rowlett co-host this event in collaboration with the DFW chapter of Community Associations Institute. In the clinic, sessions will equip you with tools that you'll need to manage your HOA. So things like governing documents, hot topics that HOAs have to deal with, and fundamentals of financial management. You need to get your seat online. We'll put the links in the show notes so you can find more information there. Also, that same day, July 16th, if you are hoping to buy your first home, you don't want to miss out on our first time home buyer education class. Class contains a lot of useful information that will equip you with the knowledge of the home buying process. They discuss money, credit building strategies, home inspections, insurance, lending, and much more. You just need to sign up to get a seat for that. All right. Now, I promised that we would be talking about infrastructure. And, like many of you, I live here in Plano, and you can't have driven around Plano for very long without seeing them orange construction cones. There's a lot of construction of a lot of different types going on in our city right now. And our special guest today is here to discuss the way Plano is reinvesting in our community. I'm really excited to have joining me on the show, Clay Lipscomb, CIP Engineering Manager for the City of Plano.
Sure.
Well, welcome to the show, Clay.
Thanks.
Tell us a little something about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised in the DFW area. I've been here almost all of my life. But for a year, I went out to East Texas my freshman year in college, played college baseball for a year. So a big sports guy, love, all things Dallas sports and college sports. So that's something I really am passionate about, but mainly I grew up here. I take pride in the DFW area. I live close and just really enjoy seeing things improve and helping, communities improve in a small way. So
Yeah, you're kind of a rare bird that it's not it's not a frequent thing to meet somebody born and raised in the
I
Dallas
know.
area. There's a lot of transplants,
I
so you're
know. Yeah.
unique
Even
that
my
way.
wife, I met her here. She's from Iowa. So
Oh,
we,
wow.
we travel a lot to see our in-laws, but yep.
Gosh.
Most of
You're
my
just
friends are not from here. Yeah. It's weird.
you're just the opposite of my husband and I. He's also a native Dallasite, born and raised, and I'm from the Midwest, so he has to
Gotcha.
make the trip north to visit my family too.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about you, Clay, that is interesting is the job title you hold. And as you know, government just seems to love acronyms. And if you're not in government, you don't know what on earth they mean. So your title is CIP Engineering Manager. Can you explain for folks what CIP stands for?
Sure. So it stands CIP stands for Community Investment Program. That's a little different in Plano. I've actually never heard it uh, spelled out that way. It's usually the Capital Improvements Program. So it's in most cities, municipalities. That's what they call it, but it stands for Community Investment Program.
So, you kind of implied that it does deal with capital projects, at least, how other cities define it. So, what is the community investment program here in Plano?
Sure. So the community investment program is basically a 5-year outlook financial plan to address infrastructure needs, upgrading facilities, etc., within the city of Plano. So it takes funding that is voted on by the citizens every few years, and we develop a strategy essentially and prioritize needs and projects to address critical infrastructure needs across the city.
So, tell me what kind of projects those would include.
So it's a lot of different types. Anything usually within the city right of way or on city property. So it's facilities, including fire stations and upgrades to libraries and things like that. But it's for our team in engineering on the CIP team. It's majority of it is streets, both maintenance and reconstruction once they reach a certain lifespan. It also includes utility improvements, water and sewer infrastructure renewals is what we call them, but it's reconstruction or adding, replacing an old, outdated or failing infrastructure, water line, sewer line with new lines. And then it also addresses things like drainage, stormwater problems that we have with our systems, localized flooding, stream bank erosion, things like that.
Well, you mentioned that it's a financial plan. So, where does money that goes into the CIP come from?
Right. So, as mentioned before, every 4 years or so, the city puts together a bond package with lots of different elements that the citizens vote on. One of those is usually a good, significant amount of money for infrastructure improvements to keep our streets, all of our systems, all of our infrastructure, going in the right direction or reconstructing it to keep up with times, based on the age and things that are going on there. But yeah, it comes from the bond program. And so it's voted on by the citizens.
Well, I live in Plano and I hear this comment from our residents quite a bit. It feels like every road right now in Plano is under construction.
Yeah,
It's probably not true, but a lot of work is going on, right?
that's correct. Yeah, it can seem that way. No, we're not only doing, we're not trying to be reactive anymore. A lot of times in the past, we gotten complaints, we've gone out and investigated, we react to situations. In this case, what you're seeing with a lot of the roads is a proactive approach to maintaining them. So public works is heavily involved in a lot of that maintenance that you see a lot on the arterials, but we do have a lot of infrastructure improvements at intersections to add capacity, update signals there. But it does seem like there is a lot of construction going on, and there is, and that's good because there's a lot of money that the citizens have voted on to improve these things to last another 20 years, or if they're reconstructed, lasting another 30 to 50 years. And so, it's important that money is spent in a very fiscally responsible way to improve our infrastructure over the course of time.
Well, I know you all do work very closely with Public Works because streets are kind of a dual process. You mentioned, that maintaining and extending versus the complete replacement. When you all are in meetings, how are you looking at the data to determine whether it's time for a major infrastructure investment of a repair versus a replacement?
Right. So Public Works has a large asset management program in place, and they actually have a team now that is dedicated to that. But as I was mentioning before, a lot of times in the past, the city and most cities have been reactive. When things go wrong, then you go fix it. And I think that Public Works now and our team, based off technology improvements and lots of different initiatives, has a much better grasp on our infrastructure, the status of our infrastructure. And so we're able to proactively uh, go out and maintain roads and get in front of things ahead of time.
Well, is there a resource that residents and people who are interested, maybe those who work in Plano and want to know what's going on, so they can understand what's planned as well as what projects are underway when it comes to the CIP?
Sure. Yes. There's multiple resources. So, if you can just type in Plano maps in Google, and there's several maps that show all of our capital improvement program projects that are ongoing. You can get information about start and end dates and who's managing it, and what kind of a brief status is of that project. There's our engineering website on the City of Plano website as well. There's a capital improvements program piece of that engineering website that has lots of good information. Every month we provide city management and budget and lots of different folks around the city a status report, essentially, on all of our projects, everything going on our team. Public Works is involved there, parks, facilities, and transportation. And that report is updated. We make notes, edits, whatever we need to do to tweak it to make it accurate. And then it's published to that website every month. So you get a fresh CIP status report update. Then in conjunction with the maps, you can kind of see where everything is, what the money amounts are, the status of the projects, whether it's still in design or construction, kind of what the time frames are for construction, things like that.
One thing I like about that map you mentioned is that it actually even has, the project manager's name on there. So if you do have questions, you all are pretty open about inviting people to give you a call or send you an email for the
Absolutely.
appropriate person over the project.
Yeah, absolutely. That map, I'm in it all the time, and we're constantly making updates and tweaks to make it better, provide more information. But yes, you can call the engineering department and get a direct contact, or, speak directly to whoever is in charge of managing that project.
I think that's pretty awesome. Well, is there anything else that you would want the public to know about CIP or about projects that are underway in the city right now?
I don't think so. I just want the public and our citizens to know that they can reach out anytime. We have a lot of really good individuals in our team and our department here in engineering that can provide a lot of good information. Or if we can't find it, we can locate that resource, or determine who can help give them the best, most accurate information. But we're always accessible. Don't hesitate to call, or email or anything, just to get some feedback and answers on what's going on. But we do appreciate too, the 300,000 inspectors that we have in the city of Plano who are constantly monitoring these projects and giving us good feedback. If something's going wrong or unsafe or any issues are going on with the projects, we really, appreciate that as well. Because we can't, there are a lot of work going on, and making sure everything's, just safely done and accurate. We've got a good team on top of it, but, we can't keep track of every single issue going on all the time. So we really appreciate feedback and just interacting with the citizens that are affected by all of the work that's going on. But
Very good. Well, thank you again for joining our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clay Lipscomb, CIP Engineering Manager.
thank you, Shanna.
All right, Clay had great information for us. I really encourage you to check out those resources that he mentioned. The Community Investment Program status update document that's uploaded to the website, as well as that CIP projects map. Lots and lots of detailed information in there. And it's a great resource when you have that, what is that question, to just click on and look and get all of the details as well as up to date information. As always, we put links to that in the show notes. So let's wrap the show real quick with a couple of important notes. End of this month, the city manager's recommended budget is going to be presented to council. End of the month. It's the last council meeting. And we learned a lot from you all. You all really enjoyed the additional content that we provided while we were working through the comprehensive plan review process. So this year, as special bonus content for the podcast, we'll be bringing you budget related conversations. So when that's presented to city council, we'll issue that as a special podcast episode, all of the different work sessions and meetings. So if you can't participate in the meeting itself, and we would very much like for you to participate in budget discussions, it's important to hear from our residents. But if you can't and you want to stay in tune and up to date with what council is talking about as it relates to budget planning for the next year, you'll want to just continue to listen to those bonus episodes as they drop through the podcast. And finally, the PISD and City of Plano are hosting a back to school joint enrollment extravaganza on Monday, July 25th. That is from 4 to 7 p.m. It will be at Plano Event Center. Things going on at that: school registration, enrollment, health screenings, immunizations, all are going to be available on site. And if you are a Plano ISD family in need, you can receive a backpack while supplies last, filled with school supplies and a box of shelf-safe food. You don't want to miss job fair opportunities, family activities, school resources, food, and fun. And as I mentioned, that's Monday, July 25th. That's a back to school enrollment extravaganza. And here it is, July, and I can't believe I'm talking about back to school, but there you have it. Summer is just over in a flash, and that's the way that it is. Speaking of being over in a flash, our podcast today is wrapping, and it went very quickly without Steve here to talk with me and have conversations with you all. We look forward to having him back next month. As always, if you have any questions, comments, burning things you'd like to know, please send them to us at askplano@plano.gov. We love to get your questions and answer them. And of course, it gives us great ideas for topics to address in the podcast. Until then, we'll talk to you next time. Have a great and safe month.
And that's it for our Inside Plano. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did doing it.
If you have any comments or suggestions, send them to us at askplano@plano.gov. Bye.
Talk to you next month. The Inside Plano podcast is brought to you by the City of Plano.